6:30. Councilor Parikar and myself are members of this committee. I have two motions, one motion to bring out this evening and one to discuss. Motion I have to bring out is from the docket of December 16, 2014. Entertain a motion to hold a public hearing on Tuesday, February 17, 2015, relative to the installation of a stop sign at the intersection of Dale Avenue, eastbound and westbound, where it intersects with Woodcrest Drive in Edgecliff Avenue.
Second.
Thank you. It's actually, I should have written it up so that it said stop signs, because it'll be on each of the two halves of that roadway where they meet with, on Dale Avenue, where they meet both Woodcrest and Edgecliff Avenue. So there are actually three sections of that roadway. When we were discussing it in the Traffic Study Commission, they were saying, well, there's actually the one section closest to County Street, you can get onto it, and if the water isn't too high, there's a dirt road that you can go around and connect with the other paved roadway that brings you up to Dale Avenue. And I've been down there and I have never seen that, so.
Walter, forgive me if I may. I can see it in my head. Can you give me a more specific location as to where Dale is?
In Loneycut.
Oh, yes. Okay, thank you. Yep,
Yep.
thank you.
Oh, that's all I have to say, right?
That's all you needed to say, because it's floating around in there.
It's a very popular route
Yeah.
for people to
Yeah.
use if they're trying to avoid County Square, or if they're trying to get over to the church, or a lot of different things.
Yep.
But in any case, we had a request to have a stop sign put on one side of the intersection, and Traffic Study Commission felt, since this roadway sometimes is a through route without going on one of the other side streets from County Street, that we should be putting them on both sides of Dale Avenue, where they both intersect with both Woodcrest and Edgecliff. So that's the motion that I have brought out with the recommendation of the Traffic Study Commission. And since we don't have to meet a traffic count anymore, it meets the other warrants that we have.
Excellent.
So, any discussion, guys? Nothing? So, hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion passes, thank you.
Do we have a date for the public hearing?
February 17th. Yeah, it was in the
Sorry,
motion that I
yes,
read.
I
That's
missed
okay.
it.
The other thing that I wanted to discuss was the communication from the city solicitor relative to the Harvard Street layouts. If you remember, when we were discussing at the public hearing, when people were coming up and talking either for or against the discontinuance, there were several mentions about not having access through the gate that's there from Harvard Street in case of an emergency if we do a discontinuance. One of the things that I had mentioned, Councilor Churchill, being the former fire chief, had mentioned the fact that any situation like this, even if a roadway is discontinued or if a gate is blocked, a fire chief can place an order upon those powers to be to keep that pathway open as an emergency entrance and egress. But what I was talking about previously, and since it had been mentioned in the public hearing, is I've been talking to the city solicitor about making sure that we would be able to, even though we would discontinue the roadway, that based on emergency situations, both Bishop Feen could use it from their location if it was necessary for an emergency evacuation or something like that, and they needed to open that gate to get people out of there, or the other way around, if emergency vehicles needed to get in and their other entrances were blocked because of traffic on North Main Street or for whatever reason, and they needed an entranceway to get in, they could always open that gate and do that. So I believe that you all have a copy of this that came through to us, well, it's been 2 weeks since we had our last meeting, right? So, excuse me, it came through to us that night, or that day, and what he talks about is the fact that there were land takings that were done from the layout of the 458 feet from North Avenue section of Harvard Street in 1941, again in 1953 when it was extended by 150 feet, and again in 1962 when it was extended to the Bishop Feen, or the diocese property. So what he goes on to explain is that all three layouts expressly stated that the land was taken, and that the interest taken is all the interest that is required for a town way. This language means that the city acquired easements to use the land for all purposes of a public way. If the proposed discontinuance is adopted, the public no longer will have the right to use the discontinued portion. If the city intends to retain the right to use the discontinued portion of the road for public safety purposes, then he suggests that the vote expressly reserve such an easement. And when the roadway, he then goes on to say, when the roadway was laid out, the city took a bundle of easement rights to use the land. With a discontinuance, the city could abandon some, but not all of the rights that it acquired at the time of the layouts. And then he goes on to remind us of Mass General Law 82, Section 24. Any person sustaining damage in his property by the discontinuance of a town way shall be entitled to recover the same under said Chapter 79. Consequently, any landlord whose land loses value as a result of the discontinuance could have a claim against the city for damages. And this is something that he has said in his previous opinion, and that I think everybody's pretty well aware of that point. But he goes on to say, once the council decides what it wants to do, he would be pleased to assist in the preparation of a vote, and please contact him for if there may be any further assistance that he can give us to make sure that we are able to continue, if the discontinuance goes forward, still able to use the gate for access from Harvard Street to Bishop Feen, and vice versa, from Bishop Feen to Harvard Street in case of emergencies. So I just wanted to discuss that a little bit because of the other things that he has said. There are, and things that were discussed in the Traffic Study Commission concerning the existing utility easements. There appears to be, and I don't know for sure, but it appears as if the main electrical supply is coming in for Bishop Feen High School from Harvard Street. Or if it's not the main one, it's certainly one of the larger supplies for electricity. And that has an easement for the utility, for them having access already. So certainly we would want to keep that. But this would encompass all of those things that we wish to keep. And he has, the city solicitor has researched all of the different easements that have been placed on Harvard Street for access into the Bishop Feen property. Now, there may be other things. There may be a water supply that goes through there. There may be sewerage that goes through there. I don't know. I haven't checked into it that deeply, but I know that the solicitor has. So that's why he mentions that there have been many easements over the years that have been taken. Yes, Councilor Church.
Mr. Chairman, it seems like we're covering ground that you've probably covered before, and I know I have. Discontinuance or not, whatever the city or this honorable body decides, I think it's going to be a long battle. But in the meantime, it's in the best interest of both parties that that gate stays in place and access is available from either side for whatever reason. Discontinuance should not mean the removal of the gate. And the system works. All you need is a pair of bolt cutters. They have keys. The city side has bolt cutters, so
But and I certainly agree with you, and I have always felt that way. One of the things that has happened since our last meeting is the trees that were planted on Harvard Street have been removed. Sonny went down there with his crew and removed them, and in the hopes of being able to save them, to reuse them at another location. Before that happened, Acting Mayor Cook at the time had been notified that actually Bishop Fien had put cones on the other side in their parking lot so that cars would not park there, since that came out at the public hearing as well. So it only seems reasonable that if they're trying to show good faith on their side, that we should be showing the good faith on our side. So I wanted to commend the acting administration, if you will, through the authority of Councilor Blair, to pass the word along to Sonny to see if he could get down there and take those trees out of there without killing them, and try to save them for future use. So I think that was one of the good things that's come out of this so far. But anyway, like I was saying, I wanted to discuss that part of it so that we all knew that there is a way for us to be able to keep a right-of-way passage either from Harvard Street onto Bishop Fien property, or vice versa, from Bishop Fien property onto Harvard Street. There shall be no barrier there, other than the gate that would impede being able to use access from either direction, depending upon what the situation is. So, having said that, yes, Councilor, please.
If it's possible, this is the only opportunity that you and I have
To talk about it,
to talk about this monstrous topic. And by monstrous, I mean large. So I had a couple of questions.
Go ahead.
Okay. I had a couple of questions. I've had a lot of time to review some of the information that's come through. I've thoroughly read the McMahon report and any of the supplemental backup documentation that we received the night of the public hearing. Also, that same evening, we were given a write-up by Mr. Rajan. And I found his comments to be very interesting, and so much so that I spoke to him about it today. And one of the recommendations in this is to have a peer review of the McMahon report. Can we still do that?
Well, let's see what happens when we get our report back from the planning board. I don't know, it may be in tonight's packet for all I know, but,
The meeting was canceled last night, just,
well,
sorry.
then maybe it won't be. But I think we should wait and see, first of all, what their recommendation is, because I know he handed the same information out to them that evening at the joint public hearing, so they may have incorporated that in their opinion.
Okay. My concern is that I was just concerned that we might not be able to have a peer review because the public hearing is closed, or is there a way? And I don't know my full way around that information, so that's the only reason why I was asking that question. And I'll just leave it at that for tonight. We'll have plenty more time to talk about it.
Yeah, we do. And I couldn't tell you
Okay.
what the proper procedure would be off the top of my head either, without making sure that I would check.
Yep. Okay, that's all I have for tonight.
Yes, Councilor Chu.
Mr. Chairman, I ask one more question.
Of course.
How important and how timely is it that we vote on the abandonment of the street? There seems like there's a lot of issues here that we need to resolve.
Well, that's why I don't think
I'm
there
asking the
is,
question because I'm kind of wet behind the ears.
I don't think there is any time concern as far as us going forward with it. I don't think that we need to rush. I
Okay.
think if there are, I would rather try to come to a compromise, if that's at all possible.
I agree with that.
If it's not possible, because there's a huge gap, in my opinion, between the credibility of the neighbors with Bishop Fien and the credibility of Bishop Fien with the neighbors. And that's going on for many years. And in order for us to try to resolve that, I don't know that that's possible for that to happen. But I don't think that we should discount it either.
That's the reason I asked. I know the mayor offered a compromise, and Mr. Surgeon came back with a compromise. I've listened to the compromise. I think there's somewhere in there that we can find a workable solution. And everybody may not be 100% happy, but I'm...
Well, that's what usually happens with a compromise.
Yeah, I know. But totally abandoning the street is not the answer to what's going on there. I think we need to spend more time on the issue. Nothing's going to change. The gate is there. I know they want space. The projects across the street haven't happened yet.
Yeah.
We got a long winter to get through. I just think that we need to spend more time and discuss what would be good for everyone. Everybody involved is going to be a taxpayer. Whether we abandon the street or leave it open or whatever, people who went to Fan or live in the city or vice versa, they're all paying taxes. We're fighting ourselves here.
I don't have any disagreement with you, Councilor. That's why I'm discussing it tonight, is because I want to keep the discussion going. I don't know what kind of support there is as far as the administration goes at this point, because we had no one representing the administration at the public hearing. And it was also brought up by one of the speakers at the public hearing for Bishop Feen, that, on behalf of Bishop Feen, I should say, is that it was very obvious by those who were not here that night as to what kind of support the administration was giving the procedure of the discontinuance. So, and I think that fell, it fell on my ears pretty hard, pretty heavy, because I felt as if the administration had already made their decision and had spoken about it publicly. So, having said all that, yes, as soon as I finish,
Yes.
please. Having said all that, I don't see any reason why we couldn't go ahead and have some kind of a compromise and try to work out a compromise.
I agree. I don't think the administration's in any better position than we are. I think he's in a, and I don't mean to say that he, but I think the mayor's in a predicament too, because there's two sides of every story, and it's very tough to make a decision that's going to make everybody happy. But I would like to see us go down the road with the idea that maybe a compromise could happen. That's how I feel.
I haven't closed my mind to that, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, Councilor Perico. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. I would like to back up your comments because I was concerned as well about a time frame, and a lot of the constituents that I've been speaking with, they were concerned that we were taking the vote that night, and they didn't really necessarily know the process in which we have to go through. We can take a vote before we get a recommendation. I talked to Linda about it today from the planning board. I don't think that's in anyone's best interest to do that. I think that taking our sweet time with this is very important. We're not under any time frame from, unlike the buses that died in the council at 90 days, because we had to have a vote 90 days after the public hearing. That does not apply here because it's not a zoning issue, it's something else. So we do have time to really vet this to the best of our abilities.
I think if we remember that when we started this action, it was because of the letter that Mr. Servant had sent to the mayor and to President Cook, stating that they were going to be opening the gate as of such and such a date. So the possibility of any kind of compromise really has begun by them not doing that, by them saying that they would wait until the process had completed itself before they would go ahead, or then they would make a decision whether they were going to go ahead or not. So they have held up on doing what they said that they were going to do in the original letter. So that creates an opportunity for compromise, in my opinion.
Agreed.
How far we get with that depends on 11 people here. And what that amounts to. So, unless there's any further discussion, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned at 6:50. Thank you.
Here's my being folded.
No.
I hate to be stupid, I don't have anything tonight except bring it up to the council.
They hit it for your thing?
Okay. No. Mark, Peter's running to bring that up, Personnel and Human Services. And then it's double. Because what? He's running it from this Hagney. Oh,
I had conversations with her earlier. Because it's
Yes.
not getting up with him.
he had conversations that I didn't have, so.
Okay. All right.
$6.50.
I'd like to call Personnel and Human Services to order at 6:51. Ms. Hegney tonight is not able to be here. She's deathly sick. I talked with her this afternoon, and I told her that if it was all right with Brian for discussion, I would do this. From the docket of February 3rd, 2015, I entertain a motion to confirm the following appointments to the positions for the terms indicated. Casey Sullivan, Youth Commission, 2 years, expires 2007. Jacob Vieira, Youth Commission, 2 years, expires February 2017. Did I say 2007 the
Yeah.
first time?
I just added a
2017.
teen for you there.
All right. Polina Janik, I think?
Janet?
Right, Youth Commission, 2 years, expires February 2017.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? I
Good
don't
kids,
know
we
any
met
of
them
these
last week, 2
personally.
weeks ago. And, I'm enjoying seeing the rebuilding of the Youth Commission.
Very good. No other discussion?
Get
Hearing
a
none?
thumbs up from me, so
Okay.
I'm happy. They've been trying for a long time to kind of generate some interest and get some
Regenerate.
kids, and it's all of a sudden starts to be working. I'd like to throw the gauntlet out to more Attleboro public school kids, or not public school kids. We're getting a lot of Foxborough charter kids.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go. Let's
With pride.
get some more, Attleboro kids. Look, not that you have to be an Attleboro resident, obviously, but we need
Yeah.
more. More the merrier. So come on and volunteer.
They've contributed tremendously over the years, and it's good to see young people become leaders, and this is a way of getting that first step in the right direction. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Before I start the next motion, I will be reading everything in these motions tonight, which is got to do with union agreements and contracts, other than the water department. I have a son that works at the water department. It would not be appropriate for me to discuss that. And we do not have 3 members, so if I excuse myself, there's no second. Hopefully Frank will be here. If not, I will recess the meeting till Frank is here later in the evening and let him and Brian take that. Does everybody understand that?
Why can't Walter second?
He's not on the committee.
But he's our,
Next in chain.
he's next in line.
If Mr. Cook should not be coming in tonight, and we haven't heard that he's not, I think that's the way we would proceed.
Okay.
But normally it would be Mr. Cook, the president, that would be acting in that role. And only if we should need to, should we go with the next chain of command.
No, and I absolutely agree, and truly, it's the chairperson's prerogative as to whether or not he or she would prefer to recess and then come back at another time, or go with the next member.
Well, the reason I say that, Walter, is I have all expectations of Frank being here. Okay?
You're not slighting me, you don't worry about it.
You know I wouldn't do that.
I know
Walter.
that.
Having said that, from the docket of February 3rd, 2015, I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to appropriate $289,469.87 from Fund 1000-35900 undesignated fund general government free cash relative to funding the union agreements and non-union employees to the following salaries and wages accounts. $1,518.40 to account 1111000-511000, Department of Municipal Council salaries and wages. $6,466.72 to account 1121000-511000, Department of Mayor salary and wages. $6,595.10 to account 1133100-511000, Department of Budget Administration salary and wages. $5,620 to account 1135100-511000, Department of Auditor Accounting salary and wages. $4,593.16 to account 1141000-511000, Department of Assessors salary and wages. $4,997.72 to account 1145100-511000, Department of City Treasurer salary and wages. $5,837.14 to account 1146100-511100, Department of City Collector salary and wages. $4,839.38 to account 1152100-511000, Department of Personnel salary and wages. $4,494.62 to account 1161100-511000, Department of City Clerk salary and wages. $1,917.24 to account 1162100-511000, Department of Election salary and wages. $5,749.76 to account 1175000-511000, Department of Planning and Land Use salary and wages. $42,461.95 to account 1210100-511000, Department of Police salary and wages. $206.82 to account 12100-511000, Department of Parking salary and wages. $128,500 to account 1220100-511000, Department of Fire salary and wages. $7,218.64 to account 1240100-511000, Department of Protective Inspection salary and wages. $2,223.32 to account 1292100-511000, Department of Animal Control salary and wages. $20,260.36 to account 1420100-511000, Department of Public Works salary and wages. $236.81 to account 1423100-511000, Department of Snow Ice Control salary and wages. $8,140.52 to account 101000-511000, Department of Health salary and wages, $6,366.62 to account 1541100-511000, Department of Council and Agent salary and wages, $2,297.10 to account 1543100-511000, Department of Veterans salary and wages, $18,928.49 to account 1650100-511000, Department of Parks salary and wages.
Second.
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 Do we have any comments, questions?
I was going to second, I was on your, that's Public Works, right?
No, this is
No,
personnel.
This is personnel.
Sorry.
That's all right, we take a second. I've done it before.
I won't do
Do
it
we
again.
do we have any discussion or comments that? Yes, Ms. Parika?
I know, this is a new thing for
Yeah.
me. We use the term wet behind the ears, and that might be our term for the evening. And I know that it says in the motion that this is relative to funding union agreements and non-union employees.
Yeah.
We have this nice packet of all the union agreements. Is it the same for the non-union employee? Like, I'm just confused as to how that works, because in the union agreements that we have increases dating back to January 1st, mid-year, and then mid-year next year. Does the same apply to non-union?
They have always gone by the same length of contract as union employees.
Okay.
That's the way it's always been.
I'm just, because I don't have really any, like, here I can look at it and read it, know it, feel it, touch it, smell it. I just didn't understand necessarily how that applied to non-union employees.
Non-union employees, as Brian said, normally falls right in order with union contracts as far as the time sequences go.
Okay. Is there ever, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Follow on.
Well, I guess I'm just curious as to what the list of non-union employees is. Which I can find that out.
It would be
That's in the,
Those are the exempt employees, which are basically the department heads and middle management areas that are outside the union.
okay.
So every department head, the four electeds, all of, we.
Us. Right.
We are outside, so all the, everyone that would be outside of unions, which is mostly middle management and management.
Okay. And the last time for a raise for anybody was when?
Some of these,
2, 3?
excuse me?
I'm thinking 2 or 3 years.
Do we have anyone that could
Yeah,
verify? Come on
Come on
up.
up, man.
come on up.
Come on up, man.
You're turning the barrel, go ahead.
Good evening.
It was not this fiscal year.
Yeah.
It was last fiscal year. It was the
Okay.
last time there was an adjustment. So because of the fact that we were in union negotiations this year, when we started off this fiscal year, back in July, there was a 0% for exempt employees, and there was nothing set aside for any of the other union contracts. So this year, the only adjustments that were in this fiscal year's budget right now were for those people who were eligible for a step increase, and those are the actual things that were budgeted this fiscal year. And so no one has received any raise this fiscal year. It was last fiscal year of which the last adjustment was made.
Thank you.
And all union contracts were also up on June 30th.
Okay.
So we're operating right now
But
under
in
the
the-
existing contract that's in place, which provided for no increase this current fiscal year. So pending the vote to fund the union contracts that we have negotiated in good faith, it would be retroactive to January 1st for all those unions that we presented, including the library that we sent down
Yes, that's
this
today.
evening.
Yes.
That we just sent, that will be read into the communication later tonight. Those are retroactive to January 1st, so they're not back to July, it's just for a half a year, starting in January 1st.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You all set, Ms. Parika?
For now, yeah.
Okay. Mr.
Question
Cooper.
to the mayor, if I may. Mayor, good evening. The increase, is that the same for the exempt and, for the union and non-union? Is the percentage the same amount?
That is correct. It's
Thank you.
433.
Thanks.
Any other questions from my fellow councilors on any of these items? Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Pass. We'll wait for Frank for the next one. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. I'm going to read, I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to appropriate $38,787.89 from account 6000-359000 wastewater enterprise retained earnings to account 6000-51100 wastewater enterprise salary and wages.
Second.
This is the same amount, we're talking about union contracts for wastewater. They're in a separate category, seeing they are an enterprise system. Any comments or questions on that particular item? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. I entertain a motion to hold a public hearing on Tuesday, February 17th, 2015, relative to amending the personnel rules and regulations for exempt and unrepresented employees by replacing the current longevity amounts to the following accounts below and adding the new article XX1 light duty amended to read as follows. Article X longevity, 10 years, $500, 15 years, $900, 20 years, $1,100, 25 years, $1,300. I won't read the rest of this. This is just calling for a public hearing at this time, and everybody, all the councilmen have a copy of this to read it.
Second on your motion to call for a public hearing.
Any comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. At this time, I'm going to excuse myself. Brian will take out the chair for that one motion.
I'll do the one motion and then adjourn the
You
committee.
can adjourn the committee. All right, thank you.
Mr. Cook, you'll act as second? Also from the docket of February 3rd, 2015, I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to appropriate $49,459.23 from account 6100-35900 Water Enterprise retained earnings to account 6100-511000 Water Enterprise salary and wages.
Second.
Thank you. This goes right in line with the other two motions that Mr. Blair read in for the contractual, new contractual raises. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, did you want to explain why?
Mr. Blair? Mr. Blair had already said that his son works for the water department and has an opinion from the solicitor that he should excuse himself and not participate in any votes or debates where salary regarding the water department is being held. So he does not participate in the water vote when we do the budget, and so since this deals directly with salary and wages in the water department, it falls in line with that solicited opinion.
Thank you. I just feel that it can't be said enough
Sure.
in order for everyone to actually hear it.
I appreciate it. Any other questions? Look for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. That's all the business for Personnel and Human Services. I hope Ms. Hegney's feeling better. Move to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned at 7:09. Thank you. And that's all you guys had to come down? Thanks for stopping by.
Actually, I do have one bit of good news.
Oh, we like good news.
Wait a
For
minute,
which-
stick around if you have good news.
Oh, and how's it going?
Yeah.
It's just warming up.
Today we had the bid opening.
Oh, it was
I can tell.
over the mic on the table.
Yeah, okay. Today we had the bid openings for the East Basin.
So many jokes right there. So many jokes.
All right, at Wading River, and the lowest bid came in about $720,000 under what we had estimated. So that was a fantastic Yeah, so the bids haven't been qualified yet, that's just the rough numbers open today, so we still have to go through our due diligence with the lowest, the apparent lowest bidder. But I just thought I'd let you know that.
Love good news.
We like good news.
That's good news.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Which committee was done?
Peter's back.
I don't need a booster.
No.
Which committee was on?
You have a second, you have a committee.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Call Public Safety and Emergency Management to order at 7:10. From the docket of January 3rd, 2015, I entertain, what did I say? Did I say February 3rd?
Yeah.
Okay. I entertain a motion in accordance with Section 1-12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro to approve the request of the mayor to accept the donation of 40 Nikon AW120 waterproof digital cameras with an estimated value of $13,998 from the City of New Bedford through the Brian Justice Assistant Grant to the Attleboro Police Department.
Second.
Thank you. These microphones, something's up tonight. We've all received the memo from Chief Hegney regarding these cameras, and it's just another demonstration of grant money put to good use. Yeah.
The mayor was speaking to me, and I know I seconded it. Is this for the 40 new cameras?
Yes.
I couldn't tell you how excited I am because I knew all about these because I was paying attention last week. Maybe not this 3 minutes ago, but I was at Stop and Shop after one of the big storms, and there were 2 police cruisers in the parking lot of Stop and Shop, and they were assisting an individual who was a victim of a hit and run in their vehicle. And they had the new cameras out, and they were using them, and they were so excited, and they didn't know. I started a conversation with the police officers. They're like, yeah, we just got these new cameras. They're going to come in so handy. Before I was taking pictures with my cell phone and then having to transfer them over and things like that. So now that won't be necessary. And I explained to them that I knew that it came from a grant. And they were thrilled. They couldn't even believe it. And I think it'll aid many individuals throughout the city in any different kind of circumstance. So, and especially when it comes through grant money, woohoo, thumbs up on that. So the police officers are really happy. We're happy because it didn't cost us anything. Let's go. Giddy up.
Okay, giddy up, let's vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $10,500 from account 112410000-578300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account 121010000-532 010 Police Tuition and Books regarding the need for additional funding to train and equip 3 police recruits due to retirements and promotions.
Second.
Thank you. Again, we received the memo, and the chief, in his fiscal 15 budget, projected 5 vacancies, and that was requested in the 15 budget. However, additional members decided to retire, which created unanticipated vacancy, which hence the $10,000 for the 3 additional recruits. Any other questions or comments?
Nothing. Don't.
I thought you were gonna ask something. Looked like it.
We could have already voted now, so come on.
I feel like you almost have to say something. Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, motion passes. I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $3,000 from account 112410000-578300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account 121010000-558310 Police Uniforms for the purchase of the uniforms required by the Police Recruit Training Academy.
Second.
Thank you. This is to buy uniforms for the 3 that we just funded in the previous vote.
Academy uniforms aren't the same ones they wear.
Right,
So
yeah.
it's a one-shot deal.
There's more coming. We're not quite there yet.
No.
Any other questions, comments, problems? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you. Motion passes.
Wait.
I entertain a motion to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $1,671.50 from account 1124100-5783000 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account 1210100-558208 Police Supply, set of new breast and hat badges for 10 new police officers.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? He puts that over here. And, you know, one might ask why we approve 3, but we're ordering 10 badges.
We don't need those.
There are 10 new police officers being hired, therefore he's asking for the 10 badges for the new recruits. I mean, the new officers.
Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Did he ever mention that he'd like to have some extra in reserve?
He didn't say that. He said each police officer will need to be issued a set of police badges. The associated cost is $167.15. There are 10 new police officers being hired. Therefore, I respectfully request the transfer of $1,671.50. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned 7:16 p.m.
Do you make your motion?
4.
Public Works Committee canceled this evening.
Budget and Appropriations is canceled, as is Committee on Dog Parks.
Zoning and land use is canceled this evening.
Ordinances, elections, and legislative matters is canceled for tonight.
Ladies first.
Oh, okay.
Give us the Reader's Digest version, please.
I'll take as long as I so choose. As the chairperson of this committee, I can sit up here and talk whenever I feel like.
Yeah, she's getting settled in.
Only because you asked so nice. I call City Property and Claims to order at 7:17. I have one motion today from the docket of February 3rd, 2015. I entertain a motion in accordance with Section 1-12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro to approve the request of the mayor to accept the donation of 7 used 5-drawer filing cabinets with an estimated value of $350 to the Protective Inspection Department from Brian Germain.
Second.
Thank you. I was in and out of City Hall 400 different times today. I ran over and talked to inspections, and they were offered, Mr. Germain called them up and said, I have 5 big, beautiful cabinets. Do you want them? Can you use them? And they said, absolutely. Doug Semple said, send them all my way. They're in really, I did happen to see 3. There are 2 more, there's 4 more that are coming. They just have to figure out where they're gonna put them. They're really at maximum space next door. They need the filing cabinets because all their files are full. So they're gonna have to do a little bit of moving around over there. But other than that, I think it's a great donation, and we're very grateful to Mr. Germain for thinking of the inspections department for that. Any questions, concerns? All right, hearing none, I move for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Pete?
Hi.
Thank you. Opposed? Motion passes. That concludes the business for City Property and Claims for this evening. I call for an adjournment at 7:18. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned at 7:18. See how quick that was?
You're very good. Thank you, young lady. I'd like to call the licensing committee to order at 7:19. I have one motion and one on hold because the gentlemen are here for a public hearing in regards to their establishment. From the docket of December 16th, 2014, I entertain a motion to approve in the application for a temporary renewal of a Class 2 2015 auto license from State Line Auto Brokers, Inc. at 1115 Washington Street, Attleboro, Mass. 5 customer parking, 30 display. That the application shall complete and file a Class 2 auto license application to store unregistered vehicles on the property across the street within 60 days.
Second.
The reason this came up, we've had problems with parking vehicles across at the drugstore and also at the Well, the ones at the drugstore are probably part of the sales business, but the storage area got discovered, and the police got involved, and the lawyer for this gentleman called, and as you know, we discussed the issue as to what we should do. And I talked to our administrative assistant, and she said that we could give them a temporary renewal, and if they don't comply within 60 days, the application for their Class 2 license will be revoked, or we won't accept it. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is not a fun situation. When this comes up in front of the full council, I will not be supporting this. I don't think it's fair. I've been through many revocations as chairman before you myself, and there's like 50 auto dealers in the city, mostly used, and they all follow the very loose rules that we give them. We need an engineered floor plan. They need to have their cars in the engineered floor plan. They need to be, proper persons, which we value as very loose criteria of what a proper person is. And we have so many businesses that abide by that, seemingly all of them with one or two exceptions. I don't find this personally to be a small infraction. It seems to be a gross infraction that's been going on for a serious period of time. So I will vote for it out of committee because it's just the two of us. So that way we can vote for it in front of the full council. But I don't think it's fair, especially we have new business owners tonight who submitted to you an engineered floor plan who are abiding by it. And I don't think it's fair to the good business owners that we give these business owners this strange opportunity to fix a gross infraction. On top of that, I do have concern with just calling it a temporary renewal. There is no end timeline. If you were to amend it and add an end timeline, that would be better. I still would not support it. I think that we made a change that says if you don't apply by a certain date, your license becomes void and you have to reapply at the beginning of the next year. This business is unfortunately clearly not in compliance. I've driven by myself. They're on like multiple other people's properties. It's not like a thing, it's like a big thing. So I'm gonna vote yes in committee, but for all of those stated reasons, I will be voting no in front of the full council. And I appreciate your hard, diligent work, because it's not easy. And I thank you for your hard work, but I will be a yes vote in committee and a no vote in council.
Thank you, Jeremy. Again, this adventure is new for me. I'm not interested in putting someone out of business. And as you know, I've sat down and negotiated with other car dealerships, some frustratingly unsuccessful, and one was successful. I feel that what you're saying probably is true. It's a large area that has been violated. It just came to my attention on my second inspection. I realized, holy cow, there's a lot of vehicles here. I'm not saying that he was naive. I don't think he was either. I don't know what kind of hoops he has to jump through. I don't know if he's going to be able to make it. I don't think 2 months is unreasonable. I did receive letters from other constituents saying there are other people, but I have also made the same compromise with as many people as come before me. I think if he doesn't do this, I'll be a staunch supporter to not give him his license. But at the same time, I hate to see people go out of business. They're not only taxpayers, but we're taking people's jobs away. This guy may be a very big violator, and consciously knowing that, but I don't know that at this time. I know that the police, I'm friendly with many policemen, they're not happy with me either. They want to find this gentleman right now. So I appreciate you at least bringing out a committee, and we'll see what this honorable body decides.
And I want you to know I do have the utmost respect for you. We just happen to politely disagree on this one.
I have no problem with that at all. Any other? Yes.
Mr. Churchill, are the cars still on these properties that don't have proper site plans?
The cars that are on a adjacent piece of property are not involved in his site plan. His site plan, it's just for the property immediately adjacent to his street.
Yeah.
And I just discovered the other vehicles with the help of the police department. I'm sure he's paying rent.
Yeah,
But no, they're not on a site plan.
that's not my concern, whether he's paying rent or
Okay.
not. So he's in violation as of now, and we're giving him a temporary license to operate on property that's not properly, doesn't have a proper site plan. Is that what?
Counsel, I think what we're giving him is, we're giving him 2 months to get squared away, or he's not getting anything. And that was my understanding when I talked to the administrative assistant and his lawyer, that he has 2 months to get squared away or nothing's going to happen. I'm giving him some time, and I think that's what the council is objecting to, that he's getting a 60-day
object.
reprieve.
I personally objected if he's still parking cars on these 2 lots, that he doesn't have a site plan. I have no problem giving him a temporary license or whatever relative to what he's site planning has. I have feelings about giving him temporary permission to use for 2 months
I understand.
to use property.
Well, this honorable body will make that decision when it
Well,
comes out
I
of
just
committee.
wanted to ask you that if that's.
My understanding was the last time I went down there and counted, there was 185 vehicles in storage.
And
That was his reasoning for having them there. I said, what are all these vehicles? These are in storage. I talked to his lawyer, I said, they're not supposed to be there. That's not part of a site plan. Since that time, the lawyer has talked to the building inspector and has told him how to solve that problem. I'm giving him 2 months, I'm asking this honorable body to consider giving him 2 months to solve that problem. If you choose not to, he'll have to solve the problem without a license and then reapply it. That's my understanding, right, within a year? I'm asking because I don't know.
If we didn't grant this, his license is already gone.
Okay.
Because it's already past the beginning of the year, so he has no license right now. So if we don't grant this, he continues to have no license until he reapplies for a new license, in which case we would heavily scrutinize the floor plans, et cetera.
Understood.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, sir.
is there any possibility he removes the cars from those other 2 lots till he has proper site plan?
I think he's trying to work it out with the building inspector to come up with a different plan to be able to store those cars, and I think that may be one of your objections, because other people have not had that opportunity. Although I don't know if this situation was that unique with other licensed dealers, because I wasn't here. I'm traveling ground that I've never been on before,
I understand that.
and I'm trying to accommodate both the licensing person and also the fact that he is in violation of the license. So whatever this honorable body decides is fine with me.
It's probably not proper to ask, but there is no public hearing. Is there a public hearing coming
No.
up on this? Nothing?
If this doesn't get approved by this honorable body, he's got to start from step 1.
And then there's a public hearing.
Yes. So at this time, there is not, Counselor.
And there's no way, you haven't talked to him about getting those cars off the 2 lots that aren't on the site plan, off those lots?
I did not, and I can, but I think right now that's a moot point. We're already crossing the bridge about extending us on a temporary. I could speak to his lawyer. I have not spoken to him since his lawyer spoke to me. I've spoken to him through his lawyer. Because he has a lawyer, I told him what the city expects of him to do, and if this doesn't fly, then he has to start from square 1.
I hate to put a person out of business either. I was looking to try to find something that I could live with, because I've been through different dealers, in violation over the years.
Okay.
How strict we've been. I agree with Jeremy, and he hasn't seen as much of it as I had over the last 15 years. I would be comfortable with it myself if they remove those cars from those 2 lots, file a proper site plans, and give them so much time to get them off the lot, and give them their license for the lot that they have a proper site plan for. Do you follow me?
Yes, sir, I do. 2012 was the last site plan. I brought it with me this evening, and if you count the storage cars, we're eons above what the site plan indicates. As a matter of fact, that property's 35 and 4, I believe.
5 customer parking, 30 display. And how many are there, Mr. Churchill?
In addition to that, 185.
There you go.
In a storage area, supposedly. Ms. Pariki, you had a question?
Well, I was just, during the snowstorms, I had a nice chance to review our policies and procedures, and I just don't know, I know that if you're looking for, and correct me if I'm wrong, please do, but if you're looking for a public hearing, you can request a public hearing about this. We can request a public hearing about anything we want at any time. So if that's something that you want, you could do that.
But my question would be, are we having a public hearing to take his license? It's going to go by default anyway.
That's all I'm saying to, is that if that's what he was looking for.
No, that wasn't, Ms. Parika. What I was looking for was there a possibility, and I'm not in Councilor Churchill's, I don't know what negotiations went on and not, and I'm just trying to tell everybody what I would be comfortable with without taking their license away. And initially, if we vote this down tonight, they don't have a license, they're out of business. That if
I
there
don't
was.
think if I may interrupt, I think that all licenses that were not renewed became void on January 1st. So I don't think they currently have a license. I think what Mr. Churchill's trying to do, because he's a good guy, is
Yeah.
give them a temporary license.
But I still don't feel comfortable giving them a temporary license on something that they don't have a site plan for. It's never been done in the past.
Well, I think, I understand what you're saying, Counselor. I think the additional cars that are parked in storage are not part of this license. That's a different issue that he has to solve with the building inspector in the city and through his lawyer. I'm asking for a temporary license for the site plan that was submitted in 2012.
Does he sell any of the cars that are stored?
My understanding is he does not, but I can't answer for him. I
Who
don't.
owns those cars?
He does, obviously.
What? And then if he owns them, they're owned by whatever the name,
State Line Auto Group.
State Line Auto Group. So he owns them.
That would be the case.
They would be
Pretty obviously the
Is
case.
it subject for sale?
So what you're saying is that from the storage lot to the sale lot?
Yeah.
Okay.
And God forbid, but, I mean, I'm sure that if I went in looking for a 2006 Taurus, and he didn't have one on that 30 lot plan, and he had one across the street, if I was running, I'd go get it, bring it over and swap a car. But I'm just saying he owns it.
Yes, sir. My understanding is he does. Mr. President.
Thank you. Two things. First, I'll be a third member on this, so Mr. Denley, there will be 3 people voting in addition to yourself, Mr. Churchill. Second, and I'm not sure if you have the answer, Mr. Chair, or Mr. Denley, from your prior experience, is this a loophole where they have the storage area? I mean, it seems like if they have the 30 and the 5 and they're following that, did they find some sort of a loophole where they're just, well, it's not covered, so therefore we're just going to have these cars available? You know, like a farm system type of thing? I'm just curious.
I've never encountered this before.
No, I haven't either. I'm just wondering if that's, but I'm just wondering if this is something that we may need to sign up in our procedures or the ordinances that, you know, is this something that actually is covered? That this is illegal to do it. If they're not on the location where where we're granted the license, is that a loophole, you know? I'm just curious.
You can't-
Mr. Blair again.
Thank you.
I don't think you can store cars on any lot
I don't think you-
without a permit to store.
Right. Okay.
But, you know, first of all, it has to be zoned properly.
Right.
I think that's one of the issues they have to look at
All right.
with the building inspector.
I tried to store vehicles when I owned the garage on Pine Street. I run into this 20 years ago.
Okay.
In the back, if you're familiar, Mr. Churchill, Union Street, there's a couple of deep lots that back up to the tavern in the garage,
I am familiar, yes.
okay? And
I'm as old as you, Mr.
I
Gass.
couldn't do that. Are you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
What I was going to say, Mr. Chairman, if I may, is I think that may fall, storage of vehicles may fall under a Class 3 license right now, where you have vehicles that you're keeping in storage and you have a designated area where that license covers the storage of vehicles specifically. So it may be that a Class 2 license isn't what he needs in order to be doing what he's doing, first of all.
I just, okay, well, and
I
it's
realize-
new to all of us,
Yes.
you know, we've,
I don't want to set a precedent for other dealers to follow this suit,
it's a real stretch. And you-
but I have to say that my observation of his business is that it's a pretty vibrant business.
Yeah.
It looks to be run, at least on the lot, it looks like a pretty good business. I'm not interested in putting him out of business.
Yeah.
I'm not happy with the fact that I've got to deal with these 185 cars. And after talking to the administrative assistant, she recommended that I try to do this. And I have received letters from individuals who said, you know, you're opening a Pandora's box, but this is a first-case scenario, and I don't think the world should worry about what kind of Pandora's boxes we open. We have to deal with each issue as it comes up. I'd like to see this guy stay in business, but I also like to see him to conform to what he said for a plot plan. And this additional process is definitely a little confusing. Personally, I support the 2-month, 60-day, get your act together. And that's all I have to say. Is there any other questions?
Just, is it your opinion that, since you've been working with them, that they have been working in good faith with the city and with you to try and?
They've talked to the police. I know that after the police went to the lots, they came to my house and informed me that this is this, this is that, and the only violation at the time that they found was the storage of the cars. I went down and looked at the cars, wandered around the lot. One of his employees talked to me. I didn't tell him who I was. I left. I just said, a lot of cars here. I think they're aware of what's going on, very much so. I know the police have been down there several times. So I've talked to their lawyer as recently as this afternoon and said, you really have to, you got to get your act together here. This is, if it passes, you got 60 days to get your act together. The main thing he has to do is solve the 185 cars. I think the dealership itself is fine. I mean, there might be 1 or 2 cars here and there. He can straighten that out. The real issue is he's got to solve the storage problem.
I think you can look at this in one or two ways. Either that you give them enough rope to hang themselves, or they resolve the problem. I think that if it is a vibrant business and we have that other to contend with, I think here we are. It's February 3rd. He's already gone this far. We have the ability in 60 days to review this and say whether he can continue or not. So I think that the advice of the chairperson is solid advice.
Yes, sir.
Is 60 days too long, Ron? Do you think we cut that down?
That's a good question.
Little fire under him?
Well,
Get it done? How long does it take?
He's going to have a fire on him because he's paying a lawyer to get this resolved.
Yeah.
I'm not saying resolving it won't mean the cars don't stay there. I mean, he's got to resolve it with the city, the building inspector, and
Could we give him 30 days and possibly renew it if he's made progress in straightening it out?
I don't know. It's an area I haven't traveled before.
Well,
Linda available?
nobody has
Okay.
traveled this before, Ron. Don't put it on your shoulders that you
I
haven't
really don't think
traveled.
that unless he was told to move the cars, I think the issue is he's going to try to resolve that storage area. That's my personal opinion. So really the issue now is that there are 100 plus, 185, give or take, cars in a storage area that was not on the plot plan. They were discovered. The issue was brought to his attention. He hired a lawyer. I talked to the lawyer. I've talked to the building inspector. Those 2 entities have discussed the issue and how to resolve it. And I thought that I would give them, after talking to the administrative assistant, I'd give them 2 months to resolve it. And that's where I'm at. If you think it should be 30 days, I think we need to do something.
I think we need some good faith in 30 days or else, they should be able to go a long way towards
Maybe
that.
split the difference, go 45?
No.
I support 45. I think 30 days is short to get it done.
They've been working on this for how long?
Since it was brought to their attention,
When was
5 or
it
6, 7, 8 weeks ago, a couple months.
Okay.
They're
All right,
they're not gonna do anything unless they're told that they have no choice, they have to get it done
I
by a
just
certain
said,
time.
it didn't come to your attention yesterday, or their attention yesterday.
No, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Churchill, if I may, I'd like to propose an amendment in committee. Listening to my counselors, I still won't support this in front of the full council, but that doesn't mean I don't want to make it better. So to make it better, I'd propose that it says, I entertain a motion to approve the application for a temporary renewal 2015 Class 2 license ending March 18th, 2015. Continues as written, and then at the end, instead of saying that the applicant shall complete and file a Class 2 auto license application to store unregistered vehicles on the property across from the street within 60 days, that the applicant shall successfully complete and file the application within 45 days. That way, their license ends on the same day that they shall have successfully filed an application. So that means the application must have been approved.
Right, within the 45-day time period.
Yes.
I will allude to the president. Do I have to ask for an amendment for that, sir?
You can.
It would need a second.
Yeah, you need a second one to discuss it, so I'll give you a second,
Okay.
if you like, and then you can discuss it, and then the
Is
three of
there
us
any
can
discussion
vote.
on the amendment?
I'm not sure that that's not in conflict with the new ordinance. Because I believe the new ordinance states that if you don't have your renewal in by a certain time, then you have to go back to square one. And you're right, Jeremy, that ended on January 1st.
Correct.
So, from my point of view, following the new ordinance, which I supported, and I do support, they've got to start the whole process. And if they're out of compliance to begin with a storage section that wasn't on their site plan, they need to include that in the site plan, and then it'll be up to when they apply for the new license, then it will be, there will be a public hearing at that point in time, and then we will have the determination whether or not we will accept the whole ball of wax or not.
So,
Did you just talk to the administrator?
Does that sound correct to you?
I did.
so
Jeremy?
Sorry.
if, I agree with that, because it is silly that we just worked really hard on this ordinance, and we just got it through this council, and now we'd be confusing it. So if President Cook will rescind the second, I will rescind my amendment.
I'll rescind my second.
Yeah, and I rescind my amendment. It's back to the original. Thank you, Mr.
other-
Thibodeau.
Yeah.
I just asked Linda, this application actually came in November. And so it is, they're happy to come out and explain it a little bit more, but the application for this actually came in November, and we were still working.
Yeah, I was going to say it was timely, but it was, I didn't bring it out because of the issues.
Yeah, and so that's on our end, not on their end. They did submit their application prior, so that's, but I'm asking I don't have a current copy of the ordinance as it is written, so I asked if Linda would like to add to that?
Yes, I believe the whole thing was they came in November, so that the ordinance doesn't apply to them. The problem arose because across the street is zoned industrial. He was storing cars in an industrial district and was not aware that he needed a Class 2 license to store them in relation to the business across the street. I believe is that the correct?
Yes.
Am I explaining it okay?
Going back to, before I answer Mr. Blair, going back and answering your question, the real issue is we've got to solve the storage problem. You're welcome. Thank you, dear. Yes, sir.
If they're gonna store those cars across the street, and they are in relationship with his business, and we have other dealerships that do that, store across the street, and, but that storage across the street is also included in their site plan.
Correct.
So, without having a new public hearing on the new site plan, can't issue them a license.
Here's Linda.
Here we go.
There you go. No, it's not included in the original site plan. So
Yeah.
what's gonna happen is, we are giving him 60 days to make application for a Class 2 auto license, a new one. A public hearing will be held to include across the street.
That's,
So right now, we're just giving him one for where he is now, and then they'll come in within 60 days, apply again, and include the whole thing.
which would require a new public hearing.
Correct, yes.
Okay, but in the meantime, we go, Linda, you go sit in your office. I don't want to get you involved in this.
It appears that in the meantime,
In the
his,
meantime, we putting a rope around these 185 cars, and they're not going to be involved in that business?
I can't say that.
No. Okay.
I can't
won't
say that.
ask you anymore.
Well, no, I just can't say that. What I was hoping to do was give them
Right.
2 months to operate in the present business and solve the problem of the storage.
I think that's.
And if this honorable body doesn't feel that way, then they have to bring that out. But I appreciate Mr. Denley's input, not having much experience in this, and not being a good guy or a bad guy. I just felt that I didn't want to put this person out of business. I wasn't happy with the storage, and I'm just trying to get it solved. Yes, Mr. Denley.
Just a bigger picture, we all need to think about what is the significance of the council issuing licenses. which is part of why we changed the ordinance last year. If businesses as of February 3rd are still operating when their licenses went bad on January 1st. Like, what is our power? What is our significance?
But if you apply, like, as they said, I'm so sorry.
Right, and we didn't grant it, so they don't have one. So what's the significance of having a license
But
if
the
you can
reason why
operate
it wasn't
without
granted
one?
is they were, we as, or, you know, the chairperson of the committee was working on any of the issues that were taking place there. So I understand what you're saying, but if it's not necessarily, there's a mixture of things. I understand what you're saying about what our power is, but at the same token, you have no concern about putting this guy out of business. If he is in good faith now, doing everything that is required and trying in good faith to manage the 180 cars across the way, and he has to, within the next 60 days, we're going to grant, if the plan is appropriate, for the chairperson's plan is appropriate, we're going to give him 60 days. We're going to grant him a temporary license so that he can continue working. Within those 60 days, or 45 days, or whatever you want to do, within those days, he applies again to incorporate all of it. We sit here and say we're business friendly. Wouldn't that be an indicator of being business friendly for this guy? I mean, I get it. I understand what you're saying, but it's the revised ordinances of the city of Attleboro for a reason.
I think the authority of the council also has the power for revocation.
Exactly.
Subject to a public hearing. And
But you can't revoke a non-license. We can't revoke their license
correct.
now. They don't have
Well,
one.
and basically what we're doing, sir, is we're not giving them their license, we are revoking their license. When you don't renew it, it's gone. He had it before, whether you call it revocation or not, we're taking away his license by not allowing it to come forward. So it is basically a revocation, sir.
Are there any other complaints against this auto dealer other than the fact that he has 6 times the number of vehicles on a different lot?
Actually, that wasn't the original complaint. The original complaint was that he was parking vehicles at Adams Drug, and consequently in investigating, the complaints continued, and I discovered that that wasn't the real issue.
But he does, in terms of selling cars, we don't
No.
have anything
No
where
complaints.
he's selling cars that
No.
shouldn't be on the road. He's not selling
I have had no complaints
unsafe.
from any of the people that he sold vehicles to, or anyone who had deals with them. The one complaint that was consistent, and I know you all got a letter, was from a neighbor, and I addressed it with him. I said, I'm trying to solve that problem. And the letter still continued, even though I told him I was trying to solve it. But no, to answer your question, no, there's none.
Okay.
Not to my knowledge, sir. Are there any other questions? I have a second to bring this out as presented.
Right.
I have nothing else?
You could
Oh,
vote.
well, it's just you and I.
Vote.
Mr. Cook will be the
Sorry.
third.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. This committee is closed at 7:47. Motion passes. Thank you.
So moved.
I'll call the Capital Improvements and City Development Committee to order from this chair at 7:48. I have no motions to bring before you this evening, just some information and some discussion. Because of the snowstorm, we are rescheduling our February 2nd meeting, and it looks as though February 16th is a holiday. It's Washington's birthday, President's Day, so we cannot reschedule them from last Monday to a future Monday, the 16th. We would have to schedule them to the 23rd, which is a Monday, which means our public hearing that we thought might be for the 17th will probably have to be the 24th. So the snowstorm is kind of pushing capital improvements out a week. I'm comfortable with that. We have time in our table to address that. You're comfortable with that as well?
Yeah, what's the date again?
We're tentatively thinking the 23rd for all of the groups that were going to be here on February 2nd.
Okay. At 5 p.m. still.
Yes, exactly. Same time, same place, just a different day. Councilor Kirby?
The 24th are committee meetings. They wouldn't be a full council, so you wouldn't be able to have the public hearing that night. It would go to, I believe, March 3rd.
Okay, that's what we have to do.
And
Yep. Thank you for that. Councilor Blank?
Mr. Conti, would you give me a list of the new dates?
Happily, yes.
When you get them? No big, just
Can I
have Linda stick them in my
postpone doing that
box.
until we know exactly when that's going to be, and then we'll circulate it to all councils?
Okay, make sure you have one in my
I will
box.
make sure that you get one, yes.
Thank you very much, Richard, appreciate that.
I'm looking forward to getting started. We're starting tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to go very well. Councilor Cook?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm just looking at the notes here, and I was on at the last meeting, as you know, because I was acting mayor, but you had not already called for the public hearing on the 17th. I know we talked about it, but we had not voted on it yet,
We have
correct?
not yet
Okay.
called for a public hearing on the 17th.
I thought we had.
Yeah, I thought we had, that's why I
There
was
had been
checking.
some debate on it, but.
Yeah, I
It's on hold.
thought I saw,
We
no,
did call for a public hearing.
We did call for
We
it.
should just put Linda in the Shannon seat tonight.
we did.
We did.
Yes.
I thought so, because I thought I saw I was trying to remember, as I said here, I saw the advertisement, but I don't know if I saw the advertisement in the paper, or the advertisement that was going in the paper.
So I would then recommend that we not have the public hearing on the 17th and continue it out to March, what did you say, it's the first, third, so that all the departments can appear in public before we have the public hearing.
Let me just check with Linda in terms of the advertising for that.
Yes,
Right,
yes,
and then we're
yes.
just going to have to, probably the next meeting, if we're gonna move to the 3rd, we have to do that date, but, all right, let me check with her.
We have a meeting coming up tonight, can we move it tonight?
Yeah, we'd have to do it.
Well, we could potentially do it tonight, but if not, we can still do it. I just want to check in through the advertising requirements and what has to go in, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
when you come back as well.
Councilor Denley, do you have any other business to bring before the committee?
No, I look forward to tomorrow night's hearing then.
Councilor Thibodeau, any comments?
No, Mr. Chairman,
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. All in favor? Aye. I declare the capital improvements and sewer development meeting adjourned at 7:51.
It's all committee, right?
Yes.
What? That's all.
That was the last one.
Before you run away, Counselor.
Zoning and land use canceled?
Yes. Budget appropriations canceled.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yes, and special permit dog parks is canceled. Why is it still a special permit?
Mr. Cook and I were gonna, the people who've been running it to come in to give us one more report before we discontinue. So it's just been carried on.
We're gonna start the meeting about 5 minutes. You are- Call the municipal council meeting for Tuesday, February 3rd, 2015 to order at 8:04. I would ask you to please stand and join us salute to our flag. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Just a reminder this time, if you would, to turn off your cell phone or similar device as it interferes with our broadcast. Of course, mine is not going to be cooperating here.
A similar device. What's that, Walter? Can't talk about it.
And of course, mine's not turning off.
I'm gonna go sit at that table.
I don't see nothing. I hear nothing.
There we go. All right. As we begin this evening, I had mentioned to the people who were here for the public hearing earlier, our meetings last week were canceled due to the snow, so we were doing 2 different types of nights in one, so that's our reason for it being delayed tonight. My apology for that, but this winter is not cooperating too well, as we all know at this point, so. I also wanted to, as we begin tonight, I also wanted to thank Vice President Blair for running the meeting last week, or 2 weeks ago rather, in my absence, as you know, by charter. And for those who were wondering, because I did have some people wondering why I was not here, according to, and it was mentioned during the meeting, but in accordance with the city charter, the mayor was out of town. The council president becomes the acting mayor when the mayor is out of town, or otherwise cannot do the duties to which he or she was elected. And that means the council president becomes acting mayor, and the council president has to give up all of his or her council responsibilities at that time. So that's why I was not here 2 weeks ago. But I did watch it, took notes on it, and it was a very interesting night, obviously. The other thing I wanted to mention very quickly was 2 weeks ago I went into the MMA, the Mass Municipal Association annual meeting. And it was one of the better ones that I've ever gone to. And what was rather interesting from an Attleboro point of view, and I wanted to share this with all of you, is sometimes we sit here and we make decisions on certain matters, and we think that we're doing what we believe is right for the city of Attleboro. And what was interesting was that the MMA, and for those of you on Public Safety Committee in particular, remember the police chief had wanted us to implement a problem-oriented police approach. And during one of the sessions that I went to with the MMA, Chief Hegney and one of the police officers were part of a panel dealing with that whole problem-oriented, especially as it dealt with a lot of the drug problems. And the room, that session, it was considered an emerging issue. There were people from, there was one fellow from, I believe from Harvard, who was on the panel also, Harvard University. And it was a packed room, standing room only, hearing this. And a number of the people who spoke or asked questions who later came up afterwards were actually praising Attleboro for being ahead of the curve in so many respects. And there were many people who were saying, gee, I wish that our community had done something like that, or how do we go about doing that? But there were also a number of other things during that meeting that were actually very encouraging. The new governor spoke, as well as all 5 constitutional officers spoke at some point. And the new governor actually, in his remarks, cited a lot of the developments in Attleboro and the progress that we were making in a lot of areas, especially in the area of downtown renewal and so forth, as a very, very positive thing. And I know during the course of that day, there were people who recognized by my tag that I was from Attleboro, who had very positive comments to make about what they were hearing about the city, about a lot of things that we were actually doing. So I just wanted to share that with all of you, because sometimes you sit here and we wonder how things actually view, but it was interesting to get feedback from other communities who had heard about some of the things that we were doing. So I just wanted to share that with all of you. So thank you for giving me that few moments to actually say that. I'm holding the minutes. At this point, there's only a couple sets, and I am holding those because we haven't had a chance to get those out to people. And at this time, I'm also going to, in terms of public hearings, I'm continuing, obviously, the one on roadway D. I am continuing to follow up on that, and one of these days we will close it. So we only have one public hearing for this evening, and I'd ask Ms. Shocrow if she would read the notice for that, please.
Public hearing relative to the application for a new 2015 Class 2 auto license from State Auto Wholesalers, 885 Washington Street, Attleboro, Mass. For 7 customer parking spaces and 34 display spaces.
Thank you. So at this time, I would ask if there's anyone here who's in favor of this to please come forward, give us your name and address for the record, and you can address your income to the podium, please. And just address your comments to all of us collectively, please. And good evening.
Changing the name on the license, basically.
Okay, could I have your name and address, please?
Dave Ramanakian, 11 Rock Hill Drive, Cranston, Rhode Island.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and any information you can prevent, you are the applicant?
Well, my cousin's on it right now, and
Okay.
we got incorporated, so we're just adding, changing the names on it.
Okay. Ms. Shocrow, did you get that name? Do you have it?
Yes, I have it on the
Okay,
application.
okay, good, thank you. All right, good. Are there any questions for the gentleman?
None.
Mr. Churchill, was chair
No,
of the committee?
Mr. President, the facility's been looked at by me prior to the changing of the name. I have no concerns.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other concerns or questions? Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else here to speak in favor? Anyone else here to speak in favor? Anyone to speak in opposition? Anyone to speak in opposition? Anyone to speak now the for or against? Anyone to speak now the for or against? All right, now, Mr. Churchill, do you think you need to keep this open?
No, sir, I do not.
Okay, thank you. Again, based on testimony, the recommendation of Mr. Churchill, I'm going to declare that public hearing closed. Mr. Churchill, would you explain to the applicant what the procedure will be at this point in terms of, well, from here, you can do it from your chair if you'd like.
Okay. It's pretty rudimentary. It's going to be brought out, voted on, and you'll be notified that the application to change the name has been approved.
Okay, is that going to be voted on tonight, or? No,
That's a good question.
no, it's
No.
not.
I don't think so.
No, so it'll be like, so probably in a couple of weeks,
About 2 weeks.
the 17th.
No, you don't have to do anything. You're going to be notified, so that it'll be brought out for a vote in the next full meeting, because next week's another subcommittee.
Right.
And then the next full meeting will be brought out and voted on. I don't see any problem.
Okay, thank you for coming in, appreciate it. So that'll be on the 17th, we're looking at a tentative vote, and then Ms. Shocrow, the city clerk's office, will be notifying you. Okay? So, you're welcome, thank you for coming out tonight, and for your patience. Okay, that concludes the public hearings, we'll go on to a reading of the mayor's communication.
February 3rd, 2015. Dear municipal councilors, I respectfully submit a communication from City Auditor Deborah Gould regarding the need for deficit spending into additional snow account for accurate reporting for potential FEMA reimbursement. As you are aware, your honorable body voted to authorize deficit spending under Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 3 on August 21st, 2014 for FY 2015. As you are also aware, the recent blizzard named Juno was such a significant snow event that there is a possibility that some state and federal relief may be available in the future to assist the city in defraying costs associated with the storm. Although all the expenses can be charged to existing snow deficit accounts, the separating of expenses into distinct emergency management accounts in the general ledger would be beneficial. In accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44, Section 31D, regarding snow removal expenditures, I hereby request your honorable body to approve deficit spending in the following accounts during FY 2015. Emergency management overtime, emergency management allowance meals, emergency management waste disposal, emergency management equipment maintenance, emergency management professional services, emergency management diesel fuel, emergency management gasoline, emergency management supplies equipment, emergency management supplies sand. In an effort to make timely payments for these general ledger accounts in the city's vendors and employees for Juno-related expenses, and in accordance with Article 2, Section 2-9B of the City Charter of the City of Attleboro, I respectfully request your honorable body to consider this as an emergency measure.
Public Works Committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from City Collector Attleboro and Macaccio regarding appellate tax board ATB cases concerning tax abatement settlements. As part of the ATB settlements, with these cases, the interest was not able to be waived and thus must be paid. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body to transfer $24.27 from the citywide reserve fund for transfer account to collector interest account. Upon approval, the available balance in the reserve fund for transfer account will be $49,913.73. There are copies in your packets.
City Property and Claims Committee, please.
I am pleased to report that union members have ratified a collective bargaining agreement between the city and Local 4928 of the Attleboro Public Library Employees Association for the period of July 1st, 2014 through June 30th, 2017. The agreement reflects concessions made by both parties, and I believe that it is in the best interest of the employees and the taxpayers. Now that the library union has ratified its agreement, it is fair and equitable to extend similar salary increases, adjustment increases to non-union employees in the library department. Therefore, I respectfully request your honorable body to appropriate $15,527 from undesignated fund balance, general government free cash account to library salary and wages account to fund this collective bargaining agreement.
Personnel and Human Services Committee, please.
And it is signed sincerely, Kevin J. Dumas, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And we have a couple of other communications, I understand.
I have a memorandum to the planning board from the Director of Planning and Development relative to the discontinuance of a portion of Harvard, of Harvard Street.
Transportation and Traffic Committee, please.
I have a communication from Gerald F. Chase, 48 Nick Rock Road, Attleboro, Mass, relative to State Line Auto Brokers, 1115 Washington Street, Attleboro, Mass.
License Committee, please.
I have a communication from Carla Bassler of 18 Old Farm Lane, Attleboro, Mass, relative to the discontinuance of a portion of Harvard Street.
Transportation and Traffic Committee, please.
And that's all I have this evening.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to get a motion to go into the Committee of the Whole.
Second.
Thank you. The motion's in order. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. We're now in the Committee of the Whole. If there's anyone with business to bring to the attention of the City Council, now would be the appropriate time. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to arise.
Second.
Thank you. The motion's in order. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We're back to the next item on our agenda, which is the committee reports. And the committee reports this evening will begin, as always, to my left, Mr. Denley.
Thank you, President Cook.
Welcome.
Reporting for the Committee on Ordinances, Elections, and Legislative Matters. We have no business tonight. However, I'd like to call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Councilor Churchill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Reporting from the Licensing Committee, I have one motion from the docket of February 3rd, 2015. I move to approve the application for a temporary renewal of 2015 Class 2 auto license from State Line Auto Brokers, Inc., 1115 Washington Street, Attleboro, Mass., for 5 customer parking spaces, 30 display spaces, with the following condition: that the applicant shall complete and file the Class 2 auto license application to store unregistered vehicles on the property across the street within 60 days.
Second.
Thank you. The motion's in order. Are there any comments, please?
No, Mr. President, I think we've talked this out quite a bit this evening.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other concerns or comments? Okay. I'm hearing none. This normally would require a voice vote, but I'm going to do a roll call vote on this particular matter based on the discussion that we all participated in and heard a few moments before this meeting began. So this will be a roll call vote. The vote will begin with Mr. Denley.
Mr. Denley.
No.
Mr. Churchill.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
No.
Mr. Waite.
Yes.
Mr. Kirby.
Yes.
Mr. Blair.
No.
Mr. Thibodeau.
Yes.
Mr. Cooper.
No.
Mrs. Parika.
Yes.
President Cook.
Yes.
6 yeas, 4 nays.
Motion passes. Is there anything else, Mr. Churchill?
No, Mr. President, I have something on old business for later, but I call for subcommittee meeting at the appropriate time.
Thank you. Council Condon.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome.
Reporting for the Capital Improvement and City Development Committee, we do not have any motions to bring before the council this evening. However, we will be pushing forward with our capital improvement plan starting tomorrow night. The public is invited. We'll be meeting here at 5 o'clock. There'll be another meeting the following Monday and the following Wednesday. And we will have a public hearing on February 17th for the capital improvement plan, of which the public is also invited. And that concludes the business that the Capital Improvement and City Development has to bring before the council this evening. We look forward to a meeting at our next appropriate time.
Okay, thank you. I just want to mention, relative to that item, I had talked to Mr. Conti, I think some of the other councilors may have heard me, relative to the discussion about because of the snow, canceling yesterday's meeting and wanting to complete all of these items before we had the public hearing. The public hearing has already been voted on, as was mentioned, and it's already been published at this point, or will be. So what the plan will be, rather than rescinding that vote and going through all the re-advertising and so forth, what I'm going to do is, and I mentioned this to Mr. Conti, I'm going to open that public hearing on the 17th, but continue it to the 3rd. And that way we don't have to go through the rescinding vote, rescheduling, re-advertising, et cetera, et cetera. I also informed, Mr. Rose from the newspaper so that he would be aware of that also. So we'll open it, if anybody happens to be here that wants to talk that night, we'll certainly allow that, but basically we're just going to open it and just continue it. So I just want everybody to be aware of that, okay? Thank you. Let's see, Councilor White.
Thank you, Mr. President. Reporting from zoning and land use, we have no business this evening. However, we'd like to call for a committee meeting next week at the appropriate time.
Thank you, Councilor Kirby.
Thank you, Mr. President. I too, for budget and appropriations, have no business this evening, but call for committee meeting next week at the appropriate time, as well as the committee on dog parks.
Thank you. Mr. Blair.
Thank you, Mr. President. Have an emergency measure this evening from the docket of February 17th, 2015. I move to adopt the following emergency preamble. That the Attleboro Municipal Council vote to take action as provided in the City Charter, Section 2-9B, regarding the emergency which presently exists in accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 31D, regarding snow removal expenditures to approve the deficit spending in the following accounts during FY 2015. I'm going to skip the numbers.
I don't think you can do that because Ms.
Oh, I
Sharko
got to
did
do
not
them
read
both?
You'll need to read the numbers because they were not, Ms. Sharko did not read the
Didn't
numbers.
read them.
Oh,
So
okay.
you need to read the numbers.
Thank you.
That's what you can say, right?
Yep.
I'm
Following
not that rusty.
Following accounts during FY 2013, I'm tongue-tied with the numbers tonight. 1291100-513000, emergency management overtime. Account number 1291100-519120, emergency management allowance meals. Account 1291100-529020, emergency management, waste disposal. Account number 1291100-524240, emergency management, equipment maintenance. Account 1291100-530101, emergency management, professional services. Account 1291100-548011, emergency management, diesel fuel. Account 1291100-548010, emergency management, gasoline. Account 1291100-548040, emergency management, supplies, equipment. Account number 1291100-549010, emergency management, supplies, sand. Due to time constraints involving the nature of the emergency, makes it necessary to take action without waiting the prescribed time as provided in the city charter.
Second.
Thank you. The motion's in order. Are there any comments, please?
Generally, I think our auditor, Deb Gould, provided some information tonight that was sent down by the mayor. This enables us to, first of all, as an emergency management, be able to pay our vendors and our personnel overtime under these accounts, so that in further times, if we are eligible for reimbursement, it's much easier to follow. Everything's designated, times, people's names, their salary, their rates. It'll be much more efficient to have it done this way. These items are all deficit spending anyway. It's just adding these new accounts to post them to for further enhancement if and when we can get some state and federal money.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any other concerns or comments on this matter? Hearing none, the first vote will be on the emergency preamble to declare it an emergency. The vote will be by roll call, and it requires a two-thirds vote for passage, and the vote will begin with Councilor Perico.
Mrs. Parika?
Yes.
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Thibodeau?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Waite?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Mr. Churchill?
Yes.
Mr. Denley?
Yes.
President Cook?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of February 17, 2015, I move to approve the request of the mayor as an emergency measure in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 31D, regarding snow removal expenditures, the deficit spending in the following accounts during FY 2015, I'm sorry.
2015.
And I won't read the numbers this time, right?
I will allow you to waive them.
You're a peach, Frank.
Although I toyed with having you read them.
I know you were. Emergency management overtime, emergency management allowance meals, emergency management waste disposal, emergency management equipment maintenance, emergency management professional services, emergency management diesel fuel, emergency management gasoline, emergency management supplies equipment, and emergency management supplies sand.
Second it.
Thank you. The motion is in order. Are there any comments, please?
No, I think I said it all.
Okay. Since they were just read, that's fine. All right, are there any other concerns or comments? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote beginning with Councilor Denley.
Mr. Denley?
Yes.
Mr. Churchill?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Mr. Waite?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Thibodeau?
Yes.
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Mrs. Parika?
Yes.
President Cook?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
The motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no other business this evening, but would request a committee meeting next week at the appropriate time.
Thank you. Mr. Thibodeau.
Thank you, Mr. President. Reporting for Transportation and Traffic from the docket of December 16, 2014. I move to hold a public hearing on Tuesday, February 17, 2015, relative to the installation of stop signs at the intersection of Dale Avenue, eastbound and westbound, where it intersects with Woodcrest Drive and Edgecliff Avenue.
Second.
Thank you. The motion's in order. Are there any comments, please?
Talked about it in committee earlier. This is the recommendation from the Traffic Study Commission that instead of one isolated stop sign, that we put up a matching set from each side of Dale Avenue where it intersects with both of those roadways.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other comments on this matter? Councilor Parika?
Did we want to make a correction to the motion where it says, because it says a stop sign? Did we want to make a correction at this time for that?
Yeah, we can do that as a friendly amendment.
As a friendly-
And what is that
I
going
did
to
it on
be?
my own, so.
Oh, okay.
And what is that wording going to be? please?
Relative to the installation of stop signs at the intersection of Dale Avenue.
Okay, I'll accept that as a friendly friendly amendment.
Thank you, Mr.
Stop
President.
signs. Okay. You have any, Chantal?
Yes, I do.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Are there any other concerns or comments on this matter? Outside of the friendly amendment, okay? Hearing none, this matter does require a voice vote, unless some people feel otherwise. Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. President. That's all the business I have this evening for transportation and traffic. But we'll call for a committee meeting next week at the appropriate time.
Thank you. Council Cooper.
Thank you. Reporting for Public Safety and Emergency Management from the docket of February 3rd, 2015. I move in accordance with Section 1-12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro to approve the request of the mayor to accept the donation of 40 Nikon AW120 waterproof digital cameras with an estimated value of $13,998 from the City of New Bedford through the, why can't I ever say this? Byron Justice Assistance Grant to the Attleboro Police Department.
Second.
Thank you. The motion's in order. Are there any comments, please?
No, we just talked about it about an hour ago.
Okay. Are there any other concerns or comments? Hearing none, this matter requires a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. I move to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $10,500 from account 11241000-578300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to police tuition and books regarding the need for additional funding to train and equip 3 police recruits due to retirements and promotions.
Second.
Thank you. The motion's in order. Are there any comments, please?
No, we, again, just talked about this in committee.
Okay.
a little while ago.
Okay. Are there any other concerns or comments? Hearing none, this matter requires a roll call vote, and the vote will begin with Ms. Parika.
Mrs. Parika?
Yes.
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Thibodeau?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Waite?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Mr. Churchill?
Yes.
Mr. Denley?
Yes.
President Cook?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
Thank you. I move to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $3,000 from the Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to police uniforms for the purchase of the uniforms required by the Police Recruit Training Academy.
Second.
Thank you. The motion's in order. Are there any comments?
No, sir.
Are there any other concerns or comments? Hearing none, let's see, this, yes, hearing none. Proceed with the vote. This will be a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Denley.
Mr. Denley?
Yes.
Mr. Churchill?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Mr. Waite?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Thibodeau?
Yes.
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Mrs. Parika?
Yes.
President Cook?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
The motion passes.
Thank you. I move to approve the request of the mayor to transfer $1,671.50 from Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to police supply for sets of new breast and hat badges for 10 new police officers.
Second.
Thank you. The motion's in order. Are there any comments?
No, sir.
Are there any other concerns or comments? Hearing none, proceed with a vote, and this will be a roll call, starting with Council Parika.
Mrs. Parika?
Yes.
Mr. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Thibodeau?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Waite?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Mr. Churchill?
Yes.
Mr. Denley?
Yes.
President Cook?
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That concludes the business for public safety and emergency management, and I would call for a committee meeting next week at the appropriate time.
Thank you. Council Parika.
Thank you, President Cook. Reporting for city property and claims, I have one motion for this evening. From the docket of February 3rd, 2015. I move in accordance with Section 1-12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro to approve the request of the mayor to accept the donation of 7 used 5-drawer filing cabinets with an estimated value of $350 to the Protective Inspection Department from Brian Germain.
Second.
Thank you. The motion's in order. Are there any comments, please?
I don't have any additional comments.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other concerns or comments? Hearing none, this will be a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. That concludes the business for city property and claims. I request a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Let's see. And, let's see, Mr. Blair, you hold
First.
you,
He has all but one motion, and you'll pass it over to me for one motion.
all right, thank you.
Reporting for Personnel and Human Services. From the docket of February 3rd, 2015, I move to confirm the following appointments to positions and terms indicated. Cassie?
Casey?
Casey?
Mm-hmm.
With a K, right?
Yep.
Youth Commission, 2 years, expires 2017. Jacob Vieira, Youth Commission, 2 years to expire February 2017. Belina Janik, Youth Commission, 2 years to expire February 17.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is in order. Are there any comments, please?
Other than it's good to see young people coming out again for the Youth Commission. It's great. It's a great commission. They do a lot of good work. I know I said that earlier, but to repeat, it's worthwhile.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other concerns or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of February 3rd, 2015, I move to approve the request of the mayor to appropriate $289,469.87 from Fund 1000-359-000, undesignated fund general government free cash relative to funding the union agreements and non-union employees to the following salary and wages accounts. $1,518.40 municipal council salary and wages. I already read these, Frank.
Right.
$6,466.72 mayor's department salary and wages. $6,595.10 Department of Budget Administration salary and wages. $5,620 to account Department Auditors accounting salary and wages. $4,593.16 Department of Assessors salary and wages. $4,997.72 Department City Treasurer salary and wages. $5,837.14 Department City Collector salary and wages. $4,839.38 Department Personnel salary and wages. $4,494.62 Department City Clerk salary and wages. $1,917.24 Department of Elections salary and wages. $5,749.76 Department Planning and Land Use salary and wages. $42,461.95 Department of Police salary and wages. $206.82 Department Parking salary and wages. $128,500 Department Fire salary and wages. $7,218.64 Protective Inspection salary and wages. $2,223.32 Department Animal Control salary and wages. $20,260.36 Department Public Works salary and wages. $236.81 Department Snow Ice Control salary and wages. $8,140.52 Department Health salary and wages. $6,366.62 Department Council on Aging salary and wages. $2,297.10 Department Bedford salary and wages. $18,928.49 Department Park salary and wages.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is in order. Are there any comments, please?
No, we discussed this earlier. We had the mayor here and the personnel director to answer any questions at that time.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other concerns or comments? Councilor Thibodeau?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Welcome.
And I apologize for not making these comments during the committee meeting. Didn't jump out at me then. I thought that the raises that we were talking about were for non-elected persons rather than elected persons, even those who are department heads and city councilors and mayors. I realize that it's the city council, by charter, it's the city council's right to raise their own salary and the mayor's salary as we choose to. It's just that I'm not sure that, according to the charter, that unless we separate these votes for elected personnel. I'm not sure that that is correct with the language that's in the charter.
If I may,
Councilor Blair.
Walter? Sure. I could be wrong, but $1,518.40. I don't believe that includes any council's salary being raised. I think that is our administrative assistant's raise.
Oh,
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
And when we go to the mayor's salary and wages, those accounts, that's to his office personnel,
all right, okay.
and I believe that follows right through with the rest of our elected officers. Am I correct, Linda?
Yes, the only one that is actually set by ordinance is the council, and that is, in reference to the mayor's
Mayor's
salary
salary,
at
right.
85,000, so that, there's no changes there, and the mayor is now on a grade,
Right.
15, so that pulls him, and also the city clerk, they're all on part of the compensation plan and part of the grades. So they're not like an elected official, there's nothing
Right.
specific in the
Right.
ordinance that dictates their salary anymore.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't understand the context of the line item, the way that it was read, that it didn't include the city councilors or the mayor. The line item goes under salary and wages, so
Right.
that's the way I was taking it.
Right.
It could have been explained more precisely.
And I should have
now.
asked the question during committee.
That opening line, I mean, in the motion before, Councilor Blair had read it, all the account and the amount is actually relative to the funding of union agreements and non-union employees. You know, so that was, coincides with what Linda was saying, too.
Yeah, and I understood that part of it. It's just that the way that it's laid out with the line items is what caught my attention, and I think was worth the question.
Sure was.
Thank you. Any other concerns or comments? Michelle, did you have your hand up, or was it you just?
No, I
Okay,
did
thought
not.
you did. Okay. I thought you did. My peripheral vision is on. Okay, thank you. Are there any other concerns or comments? Hearing none, this will be a roll call vote, and the vote will begin with Councilor Denley.
Mr. Denley,
Yes.
Mr. Churchill,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Mr. Waite,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Mr. Thibodeau,
Yes.
Mr. Cooper,
Yes.
Mrs. Parika,
Yes.
President Cook.
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. President. From the docket of February 3rd, 2015, I move to approve the request of the mayor to appropriate $38,787.89 from account 6000-359000 wastewater enterprise fund retained earnings to account 6000-511000 wastewater enterprise salary and wages.
Second?
Thank you. The motion's in order. Are there any comments, please?
No, we had the opportunity to question that earlier in the evening.
Okay, are there any other concerns or comments? Hearing none, let's see, hearing none, this will be, hearing none. Well, the roll,
Tough on that. Hey,
I know, it's been a long day.
relax.
I had the wrong amount written down here. Hearing none, this will be a roll call vote, and the vote will begin with Councilor Parika.
Mrs. Parika,
Yes.
Mr. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Thibodeau,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Mr. Kirby.
Yes.
Mr. Waite,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Mr. Churchill,
Yes.
Mr. Denley,
Yes.
Cook.
Yes,
10 yeas, 0 nays.
motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of February 3rd, 2015, I move to hold a public hearing on Tuesday, February 17th, 2015, relative to amending the personnel rules and regulations for exempt and unrepresented employees by replacing the current longevity amounts to the following amounts below and adding the new article XX1 light duty, amended to read as follows. Article X longevity, 10 years, $500, 15 years, $900, 20 years, $1,100, 25 years, $1,300. I won't read the rest of this article. All my fellow councilors have a copy.
Thank you. I'd agree with the waiving of that.
Second.
Is there a second? Thank you, Mr. President. Motion in order. Are there any additional comments?
No.
Anybody else have any concerns or comments? Hearing none, this matter will be by voice. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. President. There's one other motion this evening that I will be abstaining from, and Councilor Kirby will be taking care of that for me. Would you pass that over?
Thank you.
Thank
All right,
you.
you're leaving it. Just let the record note, Mr. Blair is stepping out, and then Mr. Kirby will be handling, this is the third motion, excuse me, on my list, it's the third motion.
Absolutely.
Just want to make sure we're the same one, that's 49,000, right?
It's 49,000, yes.
Right, that's what I said, 49. Okay, I'm all set, thank you.
From the docket of February 3rd, 2015, I move to approve the request of the mayor to appropriate $49,459.23 from the Water Enterprise Retained Earnings account to account Water Enterprise Salary and Wages.
Second.
Thank you, the motion is in order. Are there any comments, please?
Mr. President, we talked about this in committee, and again, we mentioned that Mr. Blair leaves the chambers because his son works for the water department, and by city solicitor opinion, should not be participating in any salary-related discussions, debates, or votes.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other concerns or comments on this matter? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote on this matter, and the vote will begin with Councilor Denley.
Mr. Denley.
Yes.
Mr. Churchill.
Yes.
Mr. Conti.
Yes.
Mr. Wade.
Yes.
Mr. Kirby.
Yes.
Mr. Thibodeau.
Yes.
Mr. Cooper.
Yes.
Mrs. Palika.
Yes.
President Cook.
Yes,
9 yeas, 0 nays.
the motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. President. That's all for Personnel and Human Services this evening, but a call for a committee meeting next week at the appropriate time for Ms. Hagan.
Thank you.
You want that back?
Yes, thank you. Actually, I should go to All right. There's just a couple of other items that we need to deal with this evening. The first, there is an old business item, and I would recognize Mr. Churchill.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome.
I have old business from the docket of February 17th, 2015. I move to hold a public hearing on Tuesday, February 17th, 2015, to consider revoking the 2015 Class II auto license of A-OK Used Cars LLC, doing business as A-OK Car Sales, 650 Washington Street, Attleboro, Mass., for 57 display spaces and 12 customer parking spaces.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is in order. Are there any comments, please?
Just that, even prior to my arrival here at this honorable body, this has been an ongoing concern. I have sat down with them on one occasion to try to resolve it. Unfortunately, other issues have come up, and it looks like it's appropriate to at least have a public hearing on the revocation of this license.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any other concerns or comments in this matter? Councilor Cooper.
Really a procedural question.
Yes.
There were some individuals that came to speak in opposition of granting the license, I believe, at this location the last time. And Councilor Denley, I'm sure you remember it, and I'm wondering if you recall who those individuals were, because we ultimately told them at that time, I believe, that their testimony, while we considered it wasn't necessarily relevant to the granting of a permit, right, because it wasn't the appropriate forum, got a legal opinion, and we went through a little bit of a rigmarole, so I think it would be appropriate for us to notify them. I'd be happy to do that if someone had the contact information for them, if you have it and you feel you want, but someone should commit to contacting those individuals that spoke in opposition of granting the permit at the time we originally granted it, because we told them we would.
Okay, we if they did speak at the public hearing,
I
that's
understand,
required,
but-
the name and address, so we do have that information, but Councilor,
Mr. Churchill.
okay, one of the, Councilor Churchill?
Is this before my time?
Yes.
Okay. The administrative assistant has several complaints against this company, and I will touch base with her. The ones that I have and the ones she has, and try to get them here for the 17th.
Yes.
I know exactly who you're talking about. And just for your information, Ms. Alger does have it as part of the record. It was a written formal complaint, and they signed it with their address and phone number, so you'd be able to contact them that way.
Okay. If it pleases Mr. President, I will touch base with the administrative assistant and try to make personal contact with these individuals. And let them know it's the 17th.
That'd be fine. Thank you. Are there any other concerns or comments? Council Parika?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there any, I know in other circumstances, you've had there's been legal issues that have been preventing you from being able to explain to us specifically why this is coming, a situation similar to this is coming forward. Is there backup documentation or copies of the complaints that
There are
we can
some,
have?
yes.
Can I have copies?
Some people have contacted and not put things in writing as requested, and there are some written complaints. Try to get all of that passed out to this honorable body. But we don't need it until after the public hearing, is that correct? Give me some time to
Nope.
get my act together.
Sounds
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any of the things that were mentioned during public hearing are matter of public record.
right.
And so anybody can have access to them, not just us, but any members of the public too. So we can work that out with our admin process.
That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you. Are there any other concerns or comments in this matter? Okay, again, so this motion is just to call for the public hearing 2 weeks from tonight. This will be a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. That hearing will be on the 17th. I'm also going to, Mr. Judge, I'm going to refer this back to your committee since it is an old business item. I technically just to cross all our Ts and dot all our Is, I'm just going to be referring back to the License Committee, just so that.
That's all I have, Mr. President, on old business.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And let's see, under new business, there's one item. Councilor Thibodeau.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Welcome.
From the docket of February 17th, 2015, I move that the following matter be referred to the appropriate committee for study and recommendation, that stop signs could be placed on unapproved roads where subdivisions are still being developed but not finished by order of the police chief on a temporary basis until the roadways are completed, at which time they would be subject to the current process of approval through the public hearing process, to be accepted after the streets have been inspected and approved as city streets.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is in order. Are there any comments, please?
Yes, this actually came up in a discussion last month on another stop sign, and the discussion ensued at the Traffic Study Commission meeting in the presence of Chief Hegney. And what we were talking about was the fact that most developments don't have the authority to place stop signs themselves. And there was some talk about giving that right to the planning board and allowing them to issue a permit, for instance, for the developer to put signs in certain locations. It was discussed at some length, and it was determined that it would probably be better served if those temporary signs were all issued by the one person that already has the authority to issue temporary signs. And that, in fact, if that was okay procedurally with the city council and with the city solicitor, that was the preferred way for it to be handled, rather than to have more than one source to be able to issue those. And at that point in time, when the subdivision, now the subdivision theoretically could be under development for 5 or 7 years, or more, depending upon how many buildings are going in there and the kind of residences that are being built, or it could be a short period of time. So there's no really no way of knowing how long the temporary signs would be up. But when, after the superintendent of public works would have gone out there when supposedly when all of the construction was completed in the subdivision and do the inspection and make sure that everything was done according to the plan that was approved by the planning board, with whatever changes were approved, that would release, in the process of releasing the bond and city council accepting the streets as city roadways, that there would also be a procedure that we already have that would come into play at that time, where those locations of stop signs would be brought forward to the city council for public hearings to remain at the locations that they currently are, or would be, and have a public hearing and get an approval from the city council to allow them to stay there, and therefore entered into the ordinance book.
Thank you. Are there any other concerns or comments about this matter? Councilor Denley?
I just want to say thank you to Mr. Thibodeau. You always bring in kind of like good government legislation. I think when what? I do. I think when some people would see like a bureaucratic city problem and go like, oh darn, you know, and you see it and you go new business. So I think this is good. It's efficient, and I just thank you for thinking outside the box.
Thank you. Are there any other concerns or comments?
Just through the chair, if I may, Mr. President, thank you, Jeremy, but, you know, honestly, it's the discussion that everyone makes and contributes into it, whether it's the Traffic Study Commission or this honorable body, that comes up with making something out of whatever comes forward from any of us. So it's really a collaborative effort at all different levels. And I think that's the best part of our government.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Any other concerns or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. I'm going to refer that to the Transportation and Traffic Committee. And Councilor
Thank you, Mr.
Thibodeau, would you like to refer that to the Traffic Study Commission as well?
I don't think so, Mr. President, because it pretty much came from them. So the language that I have here, it actually came from members of the Traffic Study Commission with input from the usual cast of characters like myself and the police chief and the acting superintendent of public works. So
Okay.
I think it's pretty much, we would get back the same information.
I wasn't sure if you wanted to do that just from a procedural point of view, just so if there's any correspondence we get from them, that we can just, you know,
Well,
it'll be cleaner.
We can change it at any point in time
Right.
if it appears that we need to.
Okay, so you prefer not to refer to the Traffic Study?
Yes.
Okay, that's how it means, all right. That's what he knows. Okay, thank you. Well, that concludes all of the business before the council for this evening. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you, the motion's in order. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We're adjourned at 56?
59, 6, whatever.
56, it says over there.
56. I thought it was 56.
I keep looking at my watch.
Thank you.